Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations and I'm Nova, and you guys may have been wondering where I was. So if you've been on my community tab, which is the part of my YouTube page that you can go to that is not where the videos are. I have a cat visiting me over here, so I'm reaching down and petting her. But anyways, so oh, guys, it's been crazy. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so I'm in a really good mood for one, because if you have been over on my community tab, you will notice we have power. We finally have power. We finally have AC. I am finally not dying. So let me try to start at the beginning and tell you guys about my last like 2 weeks of my life. Okay, this is gonna be like a blabbing, chatting, updating, telling you guys what's been going on kind of video. So if you want to grab like a crochet project or like whatever you want to work on, or whatever you want to get up to while we hang out, maybe put me on while you're doing something else, because I'm just gonna be sitting here talking. But anyway, so like 2 weeks ago I was like, okay, I really need to take a little breather. The expansion for Final Fantasy XIV came out, the new Dawn Trail expansion. If you play Final Fantasy XIV, or if you know about it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's a MMO video game, which is a massively multiplayer online game. And I've been playing that for a decade. I don't play it as like actively as I used to play it, but I do come back for expansions and a little bit here and there, that kind of thing. So anyways, the expansion came out and I was like really needing a little breather, take a little break from crocheting, and nurture another interest of mine. So I was like, okay, I'll take like a little week to play the game. I wasn't going to post any videos during that week. I figured that's fine. It's summer. Take a little bit of a breather for myself. It gets towards the end of that week and I already have like plans for videos. Like I'm already feeling like a little bit like I need to make a video. It's been a whole week, kind of feeling. And yeah, so I'm like got all this like planning going on and everything in the back of my mind about making a video. Literally the day I was gonna make a video, we got hit by a hurricane. And I was watching like the news and everything, watching the progression of this hurricane that was, building up over across the ocean. It hit like, oh gosh, it hit other people. I'm trying to remember specifically where it hit, but I can't remember right now. It's been a really long week. Like, just wait until I get into it. So anyway, about it. It was a Category 3 hurricane at one point. When it hit us, it was considered a Category 1 hurricane, but I have been seeing a lot of stuff from people who had wind speed clocking like instruments in our area that were saying that this was not a Category 1 hurricane, that they were like getting Category 2 and even up to 3 wind speeds, which makes sense because the damage that was done is absolutely insane. And a lot of people who have lived here like their whole lives and have seen multiple Category 1 hurricanes, they were like, this was not anything like any other Category 1 hurricane I've ever been in. But that's whatever category they considered it or whatever is not really, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it wreaked a lot of havoc. So we lost power Sunday about 2 a.m. That was like when the eye of the hurricane started to like really affect us. We were like smack dab in the middle of this. This hurricane was considered to be like kind of weird for multiple reasons. One, it like set some records for like early in the season hurricanes. Like we don't normally get hurricanes like this early in the season, I guess. I think it was like the first one that we've ever had in July or something like that. But also the way that like the hurricane was like changing paths and just being really unpredictable and stuff. So like I personally was feeling like it was going to end up hitting us pretty hard, but as far as like actual like weather reports and everything like that, we didn't really know that we were going to be like smack in the middle of it. until a few hours before it hit, because it like kept the projection of where the path of it was going to be kept changing, and it ended up being like we were smack in the middle of it. So I've been taking a lot of pictures, by the way. For one, I have also some screenshots of when I was playing Final Fantasy. Me and my hubby were playing, and I was going to be making a video telling you guys all about that. So now this is kind of a little bit telling you about that, and a lot of it telling you about what's been going on this last week. But I will put those in here too. But I've also taken pictures and videos like when I felt safe enough to go outside during the storm, like later into the storm, you know, not during the height of it, obviously. And aftermath of like my apartment complex and like a little bit around town. I've got some like graphs and stuff, like the power outage chart. Like the city that I'm in had a 95% power outage from this storm. It was basically everybody, like every single place. I personally, I don't know where the little 5% that had power was, because I didn't know anybody, any business, anything with power. Even now, as I'm making this video, there is still a big chunk of the city without power. The hospital was one of the first things that they got up on a generator, and then they prioritized getting them back up. Apparently the way that they prioritize it is they prioritize like hospitals, old folks homes, medical necessity places, you know, like as they should, people who are in need of electricity more. Unfortunately, everybody's in need of electricity, and there are plenty of people who are homebound that are in need of electricity, but they just do what they can. They do it as fast as they can. Okay, so it's like I am so scatterbrained about this, trying to tell the story, because the last week has literally been like one giant day. Like it was Mon to Wen Thursday, Friday, or yeah, Mon to Wen. I can't even put it all together. It was like one big day because it was so hot. It was so swelteringly hot that we could not sleep. So like, even though days and days and days were going by, we were sleeping like a couple of hours here and there when we could. We would try to lay down and sleep, and you're just so uncomfortable, so miserable, so it's honestly like agonizing. It feels like a form of torture. I feel like being that hot, that sleep deprived, you know, like basic necessities, you know, not having lights, not having fridge and freezers, you know, like the necessities of life are not working. For me, the AC is like the biggest thing that really, really affected me. I do not do well with heat. I've never done well with heat just as a person. I also take multiple medications that make you not do well with heat. I just don't do well with it. And even right now, I have like a rash on like random parts of my body from being hot, like a heat rash. As you may have seen if you were on my community tab, I had a heat rash on my face for a good majority of this. I think it's cleared up for the most part now, thankfully. We were taking cold showers. Like at one point we were literally taking cold showers like every couple of hours trying to cool down. Thankfully, as it got a little bit further into, you know, the week, we were able to get out of the heat, and go over to like his parents got their power back on. Their house wasn't really that cool. Their AC doesn't really work that well. But we could sit in front of the fan. We couldn't stay over there because they didn't have enough room. They already have other people staying over there, like, his grandma staying over there in an air mattress in the living room, and like his sister was staying over there, and their pets were staying there, and all that. We would go to like the grocery stores. I'm not sure which ones actually had power and which ones were on generators. I know Walmart was on a generator, because at one point they actually had to close because they had a generator issue. And then I know Target was on a generator because I could see their big generator. They basically pulled a big like trailer bed, like the truck, you know how they drag a trailer behind them. That was just drug up and then disconnected, and it had all these cords coming out of it plugging into Target. It was really kind of cool. I had never seen that before. But those places that had power, whether it was a generator or not a generator, they had air conditioning. So we would go sit in there. I heard that Kroger even put chairs out at some point, which I thought was really cool. And then the cooling centers that they open up during things like this, they usually open up cooling centers where they'll have AC, places to plug in your phones, you know, some water, things like that. The issue was our city got hit so hard by this that the cooling center didn't open up until like the third day. So it was like 3 days of everybody like suffering and trying to find somewhere to get out of the heat, you know. It's just been crazy, and it's just been so hot. It was miserable. It really was miserable. But I posted on the community tab about it, so you might have seen it. And I just also want to say, like, while I'm talking about that, I want to say a huge thank you to you guys that did see it and were sending out like good vibes and prayers and like just like, you know, putting all of the best out into the world for us, and the people that were able to help financially or, you know, however. I don't want to say any like, I don't want to say names or what you did, because I don't know if you want it put publicly, and I completely understand not wanting that kind of thing put publicly, to set an expectation or whatever. So I don't want to give information that you don't want given. So I just want to say like a blanket thank you to the people that were able to do that. You know who you are. I know who you are. I really, really appreciate it. You have no idea how it made everything so different. Like, it made it so different. For one, just the support and the love and the caring and people worrying and stuff, that meant so much to me. But also, like, the people that were able to help us out, it really helped, because we are just absolutely broke, and it's hard to be absolutely broke during something like this, because you don't have options. Like, you have to do things the way that they are able to be done. And one of the things was that we were absolutely so hot and suffering. So, you know, I put out a plea about needing fans, and being able to have gas in the car really helped us, because we were able to go and get out of the heat and get air and, you know, just feel like human beings. We were able to get food and get drinks and things that would help cool us down. And we lost everything in our fridge and freezer. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot. And then the fur babies, you know, when I got out, I took Taru with us. It helped a lot for her. She was the one that was feeling the brunt of the heat. The cats were doing way better with it. And I did Google that after we had access to our phones, because I was curious if cats had a higher heat tolerance, and apparently they do. They were not loving it. It took a couple days for my little female cat to really even seem to notice. But both of them were just kind of sprawling out on the cooler surfaces, you know, like the linoleum and stuff like that, you know, just being really lazy and stuff. But my dog, she was really sensitive to it, and so, you know, if I needed out of it, she needed out of it, kind of thing. She was panting and stuff. So taking her out of it was really, really, like, it helped a lot. And the thing is, just like going outside wasn't a reprieve. It's hot outside also, so we needed to go places where it was cooler. So yeah, thank you so much. Like, I can never even explain how much that helped. And I was so surprised. Like, I literally did not expect that. And I wouldn't have even asked if we hadn't really, really needed help. But I did not expect, like, even putting out my little plea, I did not expect anything. That just made things so much easier, so much better for us. Like, I don't even know how we would have gotten by without the help. Where was I in my, like, chronological order of things? Power went out. Oh, cell phones. So, around the same time that the power went out, we lost cell data. So we weren't able to get updates on the storm. We weren't able to get updates on anybody else around us who was in this area. We weren't able to get updates out to anybody. to let them know that we were, okay, or what was going on. And this lasted multiple days. Even still, like today, I lost service for a little while. Now that the power is back on, we do not have internet still. So it's been kind of crazy because, you think of cell phones as being the thing that's like so important and necessary during an emergency. That's going to bridge the gap. That's going to help you to know that your loved ones are okay. If they're not okay, that's going to help, them to get help. And also just being able to like keep up with everything. I was tracking the storm. I was keeping up with like the news and the weather and everything. I was in like my local groups on Facebook to keep up with like just what's going on in town and stuff like that. And when that went down, I wasn't able to get updates on anything. I didn't have a timeline. I didn't have like a damage report. I had no idea how anyone else was doing. So it was honestly kind of crazy. We were in the dark completely, literally and figuratively. So it was dark and we just had to wait out the storm and hope everybody was okay. And when we went out and saw like how devastating it was the next day, we didn't even leave the apartments. We just walked around and saw how devastating it was because our apartment complex, like trees down everywhere, carports collapsed on top of cars. It just so much, like trees down, tree branches down, but also fully grown like big trees uprooted and flipped over. And what we didn't know at the time, but ended up finding out as we went around, was the whole city was like that. The whole city had trees everywhere. And actually, this is sort of a side note, but my city is known for having a thing where like if you bring in a business or something and you dig up a tree, you have to plant a tree in coordination, I guess. I don't know. As a result of digging up a tree, you have to plant a tree. So they have like a thing where like we want to have a lot of like trees, we want to have them cleaning the air and everything. We live right by Dow, and that's probably part of it, but it also just makes it really nice, So we have a lot of trees in our city and a lot of trees got uprooted. A lot of damage. Basically everybody we know has damage of some sort. Obviously everybody we knew has no power, or had no power. Some still don't have power. Some have trees, uprooted in their yards. One person had a tree land on their house and go into their kid's bedroom. Around town, driving around, there were multiple chimneys off of roofs, multiple siding off of buildings, roofing off of buildings. One of the gas stations, the cover thing that goes over the gas pumps was completely torn off, which in turn flew over, took out some trees and power lines, because it's basically a big sheet of metal. There was a lot of stuff like that. So it was crazy. And it's still crazy. I'm acting like it's all over and done with, but it is absolutely not. The town is in complete disarray. And like I said, a lot of people still don't have power. We weren't the first ones to get power back by any means, but we are also not the last ones to get power back. And I am very, very, very grateful to have the power back. I was trying so hard to remain optimistic, but I was really at the end of my rope. I was really starting to kind of break down about it. I didn't know how I was just going to keep dealing with it. I needed sleep really bad. I needed to cool down and sleep. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And then completely as a side note, obviously we haven't been playing the expansion. Obviously not the concern, not the worry right now, but especially hubby has been, okay, I'll be honest, completely hubby has been like, oh, I want to play it. I want to play it. I want my internet back. Obviously he cared more about the power and being hot and everything too. I completely don't give a crap about the game right now. That was the last thing on my mind. But now that the power came back on, He went to turn on his computer, and his computer isn't working. And we game from our computers. But his computer hadn't been on when the power went out. He has like a good surge protector. I don't know why his computer suddenly isn't working. It's just insult to injury. Like, I swear the last couple of months have just been rough for us. You guys know that we have had car issues. Like, our truck has been in the shop 3 times, and it currently has another issue related to the second time that it was in the shop. Like, it's just been so much. Honestly, it's just been way too much lately. But like right now, I'm just not worrying about this other stuff today. I literally am like, I've got my power back. I've slept. I've been in my fan. I've slept, you know. I'm just letting myself be happy. Like right now, I'm just really grateful for what I have. Not thinking about what I don't have. Not thinking about other problems that we have. But yeah, I just wanted to get on and update you guys. This isn't like a crochet content video or anything, but for one, I felt like I was long overdue, and 2, not all of you guys see my community tab. I know that, like, a lot of you don't see my community tab. But if you do wonder about that, if you ever are like wondering where I am or why I haven't posted a video, if you go to my page, like go to Nova Gnome Creations, in the little bar where there's like, you can see like videos or about me or whatever, I don't even remember what all's in there, playlists, stuff like that, there'll be one that says community. If you click on that, it's sort of like Facebook or something where I can post like updates, like I can just post pictures or statuses or whatever. I do post there periodically, especially if I'm not making a video for whatever reason. A lot of times I'll post something there. Sorry, guys. Oh, I've been holding that yawn in for like this whole time that I've been talking, like a lot of the time. But I wanted, like, literally this whole time I've been like, as soon as the power comes back on, like the same day, I am making an update video because I felt like I had a lot to tell you guys. It's been a week. It's been a week. I do have plans for other videos. I am going to be doing a Happy Mail video soon. Like right before all of the shiz hit the fan, I got some yarn in the mail. So I'm going to definitely be doing like a little unboxing Happy Mail video. And then I also have something cool to show you guys. Also unrelated to yarn, and it's a like harness and leash that I got for Taru, and we've been using it a lot during this, like all this power outage craziness, because we've been taking her so many places. I love this thing. Like, I'm excited to tell you guys about it. So I'll be making a video about that soon too. Yeah, so I'll be around, guys, but hopefully if you were concerned, this can put your mind at ease. Thank you guys so much for caring, for being worried and stuff. That means so much to me. The fact that people noticed that I hadn't been around, like, that meant so much to me. Yeah, it's just been crazy, and I am sorry for the like 2-week gap. I didn't know there was gonna be a hurricane. So crazy, guys. Anyway, I'm going to do more talking, not on camera, because I've got pictures and clips and all this stuff that I want to show you guys. So let's get over into that, and then I will see you guys again in the next video. Alright, so this first thing was, I believe, the last, like, most recent update of the trajectory of the storm path that I had saved. And this was, like, the last update of what spots they thought were going to get, like, hurricane versus tropical storm. And that put us into the hurricane section. And then this was the tornado risk thing. Like, all of these are the most recent ones that I had before the storm hit and my power went out. And then this was, I had to Google what the dirty side of the hurricane was, because I kept hearing how we were on the dirty side of the hurricane. So I Googled that, and I thought, in case you guys didn't know what it was also, I would include that in here. But long story short, it basically just means that everything is going to be crappier on the side of the hurricane that you're on. There's going to be more rain, there's going to be more wind, there's going to be more everything, flooding. And then this was the chart that said that we were going to get 6 to 12 inches of rain. And then now I've got some video clips for you guys.
I think I'm gonna let that one be.
Yeah.
Look at all the branches and everything.
I know.
Not that much.
Damn. They run another branch. Yep. It got a lot brighter since my last video. So this was about the only activity I could bring myself to do being that hot. So I did do some coloring. And I thought I'd include a little picture of me coloring by lantern light.
You did more than me.
Yeah, I did more than him, he says, because
I couldn't figure out anything.
he couldn't figure out anything to do.
Play my video game.
I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he said, I couldn't even play my video games. He had, like, charged up, you know, his handheld devices and stuff, but he'd play it for, like, 5 seconds and just stop. Completely understandable. Like I said, the only thing that I was able to do was color sometimes. It's very hard to do anything when you're that hot. So this is some of the aftermath around our apartment complex, these pictures that have been showing right now. This is a palm tree without its top. There are trees down, like full-blown trees down. There's branches everywhere. There's some more palm tree broken and laying around.
Oh, that's the top of that one palm tree.
And then there's the, here's some of the carport damage. But there's more carport damage that'll show up soon. Here's some pictures of kind of what the ground looked like everywhere. It's really waterlogged too. Like, you can see that it's flooded a bit, but later on, I actually have a video clip from one of the times when we got out later, you know, a few days after the storm, and it started, like, having, like, I guess you'd probably want to call it, like, a torrential downpour, because we've been getting, like, just dumpings of water here and there, and it flooded, like, instantly, because the water, or the ground is just so waterlogged, even in the areas it's not flooded. There's that other carport that I was telling you guys about. So it's collapsed on all those cars. And then here you can see kind of the area. You can see some of those downed branches and stuff. This is all just my apartment complex, by the way. All of these were just the apartment complex, like walking around. This is like my little area of the apartment complex. You can tell, you can't even tell that that's a sidewalk except for at like certain spots where the sidewalk still shows. And with these trees, you can see like it just took the whole tree up, like right out of the ground. And then this was another drawing, another coloring, sorry, that I did. I did 2 gnome colorings out of my gnome coloring book. I was so happy to have that. And then this was when I was suffering and having like heat rashes and just sweating and dying and oof. This, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to tell very well, but this is the like entrance to the road that my apartments are on. That's actually like my apartments are literally right behind that. This is where I was telling you guys that we had trees downed on our wire and like pulling down the poles. And then we started to venture out a little bit more into town after quite a bit of cleanup had already been done, like even day 1. But this is my hubby's grandma's house. And you can see that she's got some trees down. And then I just took a little bit of kind of a trip down the road just to show you guys kind of what it's looking like everywhere, like the aftermath. So you can see more trees down. Lots of people have started to clean up their yards and pile all the debris by the sides. People try to get on it really quick, you know, take care of it as quickly as they can. So you're just going to see, basically, it almost looks like there's bushes and stuff lining the road, but that's actually just all the tree foliage and stuff that had been down, all the branches that people picked up out of their yards and the sidewalks and stuff. And then here's the end of that road, and you can see they need to get someone out here to get this tree that's like dangling half of the tree down into the road. And this is some more damage, just showing you guys like a little bit around town, a little bit in the residential areas. What kind of damage. Like look at all these trees that are uprooted. That one's on that person's house. You can see like how it, like literally the bottom of the tree just like ripped itself straight out of the ground. These weren't trees that snapped or anything. And then this is what I was telling you guys about when we were out. It started to just pour down for like maybe 15 minutes, if even. And it just flooded instantly because the ground's so waterlogged. And then this is how poor little Lincoln was laying around the house. He was so done with it. He was miserable. So he would just flop out on like the coolest surfaces, one of which being their little shelf. This is the cat's shelf where they eat and like have like a little crocheted bed. But they just knocked the bed off and we're just laying on it. And then this picture is after we got our AC back. So this is them laying in the bed with me in front of the fan. They are both sucking up that fan time. And that's my little journey, a little glimpse into what I've been up to this past week. This picture here is when they were finally working on getting that tree off of the power line. So I was so happy. I was like, yes, please fix it. And it was still about almost a whole nother day before it was actually fixed after that. But it was a sign they were getting close. Anyways, guys, I hope that you guys have a beautiful weekend. I hope you guys are having a better week than I am if you're in this area. I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you get your power back soon if you don't already have it back. And I will see you guys again real soon.